The small spaceship shook violently as it passed through the thick, green fog of the alien planet's atmosphere. Captain Aaron Kane gripped the controls tightly, sweat rolling down his face. The warning alarms screamed in his ears, and his ship's hull creaked under the stress. The planet below was unlike anything he had ever seen: rivers of silver, glowing trees, and floating rocks that seemed to hover without any explanation. Something about it felt alive. Then, with a deafening crash, the ship slammed into the ground. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and Aaron struggled to stay conscious. When he finally opened his eyes, the landscape looked even stranger up close. The air shimmered with a soft green glow, and the ground beneath him pulsed as if it had a heartbeat. He staggered out of the wreckage, his suit scratched and his vision blurred. And then he heard it, a soft, almost musical whisper, like a voice carried by the wind. He turned sharply, expecting to see another creature or perhaps a rescue team, but the landscape was empty. The whisper came again, this time closer, and he could swear he saw movement at the edge of the glowing forest. Something was watching him. Aaron took a careful step forward. That's when he saw her. She appeared suddenly from between two silver trees. Her skin glimmered faintly, like moonlight on water, and her hair floated as if underwater. She was beautiful, but there was something dangerous in her eyes, a mixture of fear, caution, and something else he could not understand. She held a device in her hand, pointing it toward him, but did not fire. Instead, she just watched. Aaron raised his hands slowly, trying to show he meant no harm. "I'm not here to fight," he said, his voice trembling slightly. The alien woman tilted her head, as if she did not understand. Then, almost like a flash, she moved closer. He tried to back away, but something invisible stopped him. A sudden force pressed against him, gentle yet firm, and he could not move beyond a few feet from where he stood. His heart pounded. Was she controlling him somehow? Or was the planet itself alive? The woman circled him slowly, eyes scanning, lips moving in a language he could not comprehend. She paused, then pointed toward the horizon where the sky burned with strange colors. Something was coming. Something big. Aaron felt a chill run down his spine. He tried to speak again. "I just want to leave. I don't want to hurt you." But she shook her head violently and pressed the device in her hand toward the ground. A sudden wall of shimmering energy rose, blocking any path back to his ship. Panic rose in Aaron's chest. He had survived countless dangerous missions, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. The alien woman was keeping him here, and he had no idea why. Minutes passed, though they felt like hours. The woman finally stepped back and motioned for him to follow. Hesitant, Aaron obeyed, curiosity battling fear. She led him into a narrow canyon, the walls glowing with strange symbols that pulsed rhythmically. Every step he took, Aaron noticed small creatures scuttling away, hiding from her. It was clear she had power over the world around her. Inside the canyon, she paused. Her eyes darted around, and she pressed a hand to her chest, a strange gesture that seemed almost human. Aaron felt a sudden connection, a pull he could not explain. She was not just dangerous, she was afraid. But afraid of what? Before he could ask, a low roar echoed through the canyon. Aaron spun around. A massive predator, with scales like polished metal and glowing eyes, emerged from the shadows. Its jaws opened wide, and it lunged. Aaron froze. The creature was fast, stronger, and there was no way he could outrun it. But before it reached him, the alien woman raised her hand. A bright beam of energy shot from her device, hitting the predator squarely in the chest. The creature screeched and fell back, paralyzed. Aaron's mouth went dry. How did you do that?" he whispered. The woman did not answer. Instead, she looked at him with intensity, her eyes almost pleading. Then she pointed toward her ship, barely visible at the edge of the canyon. It was unlike any technology he had ever seen, sleek, organic, and humming with energy. Aaron tried to move toward it, but again, the invisible force kept him at bay. She shook her head, eyes wide with fear. Something was coming, something dangerous, something she could not face alone. And somehow, he realized, it had something to do with him. Hours passed, or maybe it was only minutes. The alien woman did not speak, but her gestures slowly started to form a pattern. She drew strange symbols in the air, pointed to the sky, and finally, toward him. Aaron did not understand her language, but her intent was clear. She wanted him to trust her. And then the ground shook violently. A shadow passed over the canyon, larger than any mountain he had ever seen. He looked up and froze. Massive ships hovered above the planet, their engines casting ominous shadows over the glowing landscape. The alien woman's face went pale. She grabbed his arm and pulled him behind a glowing rock. Now, she seemed to say with her eyes, her grip firm and urgent. Aaron could feel her heartbeat, rapid and uneven. Whatever was coming, it was dangerous, and she wanted him alive. For the first time, Aaron realized something that made his blood run cold. She was not holding him here to trap him. She was protecting him. But from what? The roar of the ships grew louder. Strange beams of energy streaked across the sky. The ground beneath them trembled. And through it all, the alien woman stayed close, guiding him, shielding him, her eyes burning with determination. Aaron Kane, a man who had faced the deadliest of battles across the galaxy, felt fear like never before. But he also felt awe, and something else, a strange sense of trust in the alien who had saved his life without a word. As the first of the enemy ships fired, the alien woman gestured for him to move, and this time, the invisible force released him. He ran toward her ship, every step a mixture of hope and terror. The predator from before, now freed, roared again, but she shot it down instantly, moving with grace and precision that seemed almost otherworldly. Inside her ship, Aaron finally caught his breath. The alien woman stood silently, scanning the horizon. Her gaze fell on him, and he felt the weight of her attention. "Why won't you let me leave?" he asked finally. Her eyes widened, almost as if she had been waiting for him to ask. Then she did something unexpected. She pointed to the stars above, to the massive fleet closing in on the planet. And in that moment, Aaron understood one terrifying truth: he was not just a visitor here. He was at the center of something far larger than he could imagine. The alien woman stepped back, her body tense, ready for whatever came next. And as the enemy fleet prepared to strike, Aaron Kane realized that his life, and perhaps the fate of his entire world, was now in her hands. The planet shook. The green fog thickened. And the alien woman whispered something, her voice alien but clear in his mind. "You must survive." And with that, the encounter that would change everything had truly begun. The alien ship hummed softly as it lifted off from the glowing surface of the planet. Inside, the walls pulsed with a strange light that seemed to respond to the woman's presence. Aaron Kane sat on a narrow bench, still catching his breath. His eyes roamed the interior, filled with alien technology that defied all logic, floors that seemed liquid, screens that floated midair, and symbols that changed color as if alive. The woman watched him closely, her sharp eyes scanning every movement. She did not speak, but her gestures were precise. At first, Aaron thought she was just cautious, but gradually, he realized she was trying to communicate something important. She pointed to the ceiling, then to him, and finally traced a symbol that glowed on the ship's console. Aaron leaned in. The symbol looked like a swirling star, surrounded by smaller glowing dots, almost like a map. But it was more than a map. Something inside him stirred, a memory he did not know he had. The symbol felt familiar. Before he could ask, the ship shuddered violently. Aaron looked out the window to see dozens of enemy ships pursuing them, sleek and deadly, their engines like molten fire in the void. The alien woman's body stiffened, and she tapped commands into her console with lightning speed. The ship twisted and darted through the atmosphere like a living creature, dodging energy blasts with impossible agility. Then, in a quiet moment, she stopped the ship near a field of floating crystals. She gestured for Aaron to follow her. Hesitant but curious, he moved forward. She led him to a chamber that glowed with pale blue light. In the center, a holographic figure appeared, a projection of the alien woman herself, younger, and surrounded by creatures that looked both beautiful and dangerous. Aaron gasped. She wasn't just a fighter, she was a guardian of something sacred, something ancient. The projection moved gracefully, pointing to the stars, then to a distant planet. Symbols appeared in midair, showing a war that had ravaged her world, entire cities destroyed, skies torn apart by fire, and fleets of ships falling into chaos. Aaron realized that the alien woman was hiding from her own people. But why? And why was he so important to her survival? Suddenly, the woman touched her chest and then pointed at him, repeating the motion several times. Aaron frowned. She was saying he was connected to her people, in a way he could not yet understand. Every instinct in him screamed that he was part of something bigger, something that stretched across galaxies. Before he could process it, the ship shook again. An enemy vessel appeared outside, massive and black, bristling with weapons. The alien woman's eyes narrowed. She pressed a sequence on the console, and the ship seemed to merge with the air itself, disappearing from view. Aaron stumbled, staring at the empty space where the fleet had been. "You are special," the woman finally said, her voice soft but firm, filtered through the translator. "They want you. Not me. You are the key." Aaron froze. The key to what? She shook her head, then gestured toward the floating holographic stars. One star glowed brighter than the rest, pulsing like a heartbeat. She pointed at it, then to him, then back at the projection of her past. Aaron's heart pounded. He didn't fully understand, but he could feel it. Somehow, he held the fate of her entire species in his hands. The air grew tense as the ship's sensors detected another incoming fleet. This time, the ships were faster, smarter, and clearly hunting him specifically. The alien woman moved with speed and precision, activating a defensive field around the ship. Energy beams bounced off the shield, illuminating her determined face. Aaron saw fear there, but also courage and unshakable will to protect him at all costs. Hours passed in a blur of maneuvers, alarms, and glowing energy fields. The alien woman never spoke more than a word or two, but her actions told a story of survival, sacrifice, and a secret that had remained hidden for centuries. Finally, when the immediate threat passed, she allowed Aaron to rest. He slumped against the wall, exhausted, but his mind raced. He needed answers. "Why me?" he asked again. This time, she pointed to a compartment in the ship. Inside, Aaron found a small crystal, pulsing faintly. When he touched it, a vision flooded his mind, images of distant stars, strange planets, and battles he had never witnessed. He saw herself, younger, leading her people, then hiding him, protecting him, keeping him alive. Aaron realized the truth: he was not just a survivor. He carried within him something the enemy could not destroy, something her people needed, something that could change the balance of power across the galaxy. The alien woman watched him carefully, her eyes betraying both hope and fear. She reached out her hand, almost timidly, and placed it over his. Aaron felt warmth and strength radiate through him, a connection, an unspoken promise. Then, suddenly, the ship's alarms blared again. Another enemy fleet approached, and this one was larger than anything they had faced before. The alien woman's body tensed. She had saved him so far, but this time, the danger was greater than she had ever faced. Aaron stood, determination burning in his chest. For the first time, he felt that he was not just a passenger in this story. He was part of it, part of a secret, part of a mission, part of a fight that stretched across the stars. The alien woman gave him a brief, intense look, and he understood. She was ready to do whatever it took to keep him alive. And in that moment, Aaron Kane made a choice. He would trust her. He would fight. And he would uncover the secret that had been hidden from him and the galaxy for far too long. Outside, the stars shimmered, and the enemy fleet closed in. But inside the alien ship, a human and a guardian of a dying world prepared for a battle that would change everything. And in the back of Aaron's mind, one question burned brighter than fear: what is the secret she is keeping, and why does it matter so much that she cannot let him go? Aaron Kane woke to a low hum vibrating through the ship. The alien woman was standing at the control panel, her eyes fixed on a holographic projection of stars, planets, and lines of energy that seemed alive. He rubbed his eyes. For a moment, he felt like he had dreamed the chaos of the enemy fleet, but then a pulse of energy beneath his feet reminded him, this was very real. She turned toward him, her gaze piercing but gentle. No words, only gestures. Aaron realized she was trying to show him something he needed to understand to survive. She extended her hand, palm open, and a small sphere of glowing light floated into his. The moment he touched it, a vision exploded in his mind. He saw stars swirling around him, planets colliding, and a wave of energy flowing from himself outward. Memories, flashes of knowledge, and instincts he had never known filled his consciousness. He wasn't just human. Something in him carried an ancient power, alien DNA hidden for generations. The enemy hadn't been chasing him by accident. They were hunting him because he held the key to the survival of her entire species. Aaron staggered, barely breathing. I'm part of this, he whispered. The alien woman nodded, her eyes softening. She pointed to the holographic display again. There it was, a fleet of her people, destroyed in a battle centuries ago, leaving only a few survivors. Her race was dying. And now, Aaron Kane carried the spark of hope they needed. Before he could fully process this, the ship's alarm screamed. Another fleet of enemies was faster and larger than any they had seen. Outside, dark ships blotted out the stars, weapons glowing with deadly precision. The alien woman's hands flew over the controls. The ship twisted, dodged, and ducked through the void, glowing energy shields sparking as beams hit them. Aaron's mind raced. He was not a soldier, not trained for battles of this scale. But somehow, instinctively, he felt his body respond. He touched the ship's control console, and a strange interface lit up under his fingers. Symbols he did not know became clear, responding to his thoughts. The alien woman's eyes widened. Together, they piloted the ship with a rhythm neither had known before, human instinct guided by alien knowledge. The enemy fired again. Explosions rocked the hull. Aaron and the alien woman moved as one, a team against impossible odds. It was not strength alone, but human creativity, courage, and quick thinking that gave them an edge. They dodged into a field of energy storms, the enemy fleet following blindly, and Aaron realized the alien woman had been teaching him, testing him all along. Then, a massive vessel appeared ahead, a command ship larger than anything he had seen. Inside, he could sense the presence of something intelligent, something powerful, waiting for him. The alien woman leaned close and gestured urgently. Her movements were clear now, this was the final chance. If they did not act, the enemy would destroy everything. Aaron took a deep breath, remembering the visions from the sphere. The knowledge in his mind guided his hands. He activated a sequence on the alien ship, combining human unpredictability with alien precision. The engines roared, the shields pulsed, and in a sudden burst, they slipped past the enemy fleet, leaving chaos in their wake. The enemy command ship fired a massive beam, but Aaron anticipated it. Using the energy field from the ship and his newfound instincts, he redirected the blast. The beam destroyed a pursuing squadron, buying them a critical window to escape. Finally, they broke free into uncharted space. Silence filled the ship, except for the hum of its living systems. Aaron looked at the alien woman. For the first time, she smiled, not a friendly smile, but a smile of relief and trust. "You saved us," she said, the translator converting her alien tones into human words. "Not just me. My people. All of us." Aaron shook his head. "No. We did this together. I don't even fully understand it yet, but we did it." She reached out, her hand hovering over his, the glow from the ship's interior casting soft light on their faces. In that moment, Aaron realized that the bond they had forged was more than survival, it was trust, respect, and perhaps something deeper. Outside the ship, the stars stretched endlessly. Aaron glanced at the distant planets and flickering energy storms. Somewhere out there, fleets still hunted them. Somewhere out there, countless mysteries awaited. But for now, he had a purpose, he was part of a story bigger than himself, a story that spanned galaxies and species. Then, the alien ship's sensors beeped. A faint signal, different from the enemy fleets, appeared in the distance. The alien woman's face grew tense again. She turned to Aaron, her gestures urgent but restrained. The message was clear, their journey was far from over. Aaron felt a surge of determination. Fear had not left him, but courage had replaced it. Humans had survived impossible odds for millennia, adapting, learning, and fighting when all hope seemed lost. And now, he was part of that legacy, standing side by side with an alien guardian. "Whatever it is," he said quietly, "we face it together." The alien woman's eyes softened, and she nodded. The ship turned toward the unknown signal, leaving behind the chaos of battle. Aaron Kane, human among the stars, had discovered the truth. His courage, intelligence, and humanity were the greatest weapons of all. As the ship sped into uncharted space, Aaron looked at the stars, his heart steady. Somewhere out there, enemies waited. But he knew one thing for certain: humans could survive, humans could adapt, and humans could change the galaxy. And with the alien woman at his side, he would. The stars shimmered ahead, mysteries awaiting, adventures beginning, and the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath. Aaron Kane smiled. For the first time in his life, he understood his place in the vast cosmos. The story was far from over.